Hey, welcome everyone. It is the Monday edition of the Nerdy Cool Dad podcast. John here, and another very eventful weekend we all had. Nothing too exciting. Just kind of I did a few things around the house and had some good calls with friends and family over the weekend. Started playing some fun games online, so that was something I was mentioning last week. It, for whatever reason, it didn't cross my mind that I'd be able to play games like Drawful, which is a lot of fun. If you have a Steam account, something to look into. What I did find is you need to have a software, like a video conferencing software that allows you to do like a screen share, and that should allow you to play a lot more games. So I'm gonna keep trying new things. We tried playing this game of Codenames online version, but their servers were kind of crashing. It wasn't working as expected. But I'm gonna keep looking and see what I can come up with, and I'll post it. But Drawful's a great game. You can get it on Steam for I think it's like $10, not even. Good fun, and I think the producers are Jackbox Games, so I'm gonna see what else they have. I also noticed on Steam you can get Risk. If you like Risk, it's free. I assume you can play online multiplayer, but I don't know for sure. I can't imagine you wouldn't be able to, but that is something I'm gonna test out this week, and we'll see how that goes, and I'll let you know my results. I did have to go to a Home Depot this weekend. I know I'm preaching stay the fuck inside and all that, but there was a bunch of things that I really needed to get there before the stores closed. They announced that Home Depots and Canadian Tires are going to be closing, and they are now. They're going to do curbside pickups, but that will be curious to see. I think Home Depot is in a much better spot to do that, but Canadian Tire, apparently their website crashed this weekend, and it's kind of interesting. Like, I come from an IT and techie kind of background here, and companies like that have really missed the boat on the whole omni-channel presence, like having a good, solid online purchasing system for pickups or delivery. And companies have gone so long without really adopting these strategies to the point where now they're trying to play catch up, and it's kind of like, well, you're kind of missing the boat. I think a lot of people are going to be annoyed with it. Now, I know Loblaws is actually pretty bad with it too, apparently. I was told about a story of people going to do the pickups and not having all the stuff they're expecting to, just to have to go into the store and pick it up anyway. So it's not the greatest strategy. They need to really get their shit together and figure this out. Companies like Walmart are doing pretty well, I'd say. I had a delivery sent to me this weekend as well. So I got that on Saturday. It took 2 weeks to do the delivery. We were going to cancel it at one point, but then we're like, you know what? It saves us one more trip to the grocery store on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis. So let's just keep it. And we did. So, not a huge order by any means, but they came and they dropped. I kind of intercepted the van outside my house and got them to put all the groceries on the front step, and then I grabbed them, brought them inside, wiped them all down with disinfectant and all that. It worked pretty well. But you know what? Walmart has had to figure their shit out big time because of Amazon, so they're not perfect by any means, but I did find that the process was relatively pain-free, other than the waiting time, which I think is unavoidable at this point. So it is what it is. What I would actually suggest to you all, if you're thinking of doing online grocery ordering, go ahead and do it. Don't worry about the 2-week wait or anything like that, because let's be honest, we're in this probably for a couple months, and it'll come at a convenient time. Whether you're just getting them to get you sauces and things like that you typically get at the grocery store, but you don't want to really rush to the store to get some more sriracha or ketchup or something like that. This is a good opportunity to get those kinds of foods that you need and then do your in-store visits for bigger items. So figure out what you want to do. They don't always have everything that you want. There is actually, at least Walmart, they give you an option. If they don't have it in stock, they'll replace it for you with something similar. You can turn that option on or off. I prefer just not to get something if they didn't have it, because I don't really trust their judgment. It is what it is. The important thing is now I have 2 boxes of Fruit Loops, and my daughter decided she doesn't like Fruit Loops anymore, or she doesn't like milk. I don't know. Every day seems to be changing. She doesn't eat pizza anymore, which is surprising. We're living off a hot dog and pasta with some peanut butter and jelly. Strict diet, pretty much. We'll let you know the results. But it's get a little crazy. One thing I have to say for sure is, like, when you're going to grocery stores or any store of that in that matter, I can't help but see the garbage that's being left in the parking lot. So I'm talking like your like face masks and rubber gloves, stuff like that, or protective gloves. People are just throwing it, either leaving it in the golf or in the golf cart. No, there won't be any golf anytime soon. In the shopping cart, or just throwing it on the ground in the parking lot. Like, who the hell wants to pick up that shit? Like, bring your dirty gloves home. No one wants to. You're gonna get the workers at the grocery store who are already working in a very crazy environment to pick up your potentially contaminated garbage. Like, get out of here. Let's have some common sense and at least show some appreciation for the people that are essential service workers. So let's figure that one out. People, right? But what I did notice this weekend, which I'm sure you all noticed as well, is kind of the talk of the social town, is the greed of the United States right now. Now, it looks like the U.S. government's trying to procure medical assets for themselves and burning bridges along the way. A lot of countries in Europe, I'm sure, aren't happy about it. Canadians aren't really happy about it. They tried to get the company 3M to be exclusively American during this time. It's an American company, but they're an international brand. So they basically told the U.S. government, fuck off. No, it's not happening. So that's good. It sort of makes you think, like, things like medical supplies. Why are we outsourcing that? My understanding is that we actually manufacture the pulp from specific trees that we're using for those masks. So if we're already doing like the main part of it, why do we have to outsource the rest of it? Let's keep some jobs in Canada and create more job opportunities in general, and stop outsourcing things. I think that's going to be the big thing here. I believe, and not trying to stir the pot or anything, but I really do feel that a lot of countries have put way too much stock in the Chinese producing products, and like everything comes from China. Not everything, but a lot of things, most things, and maybe that's not the best role or route to do things these days. An event like COVID-19 makes you really think, okay, well, how much better off would my nation be if we actually had these products being manufactured in the country, as opposed to having to bring them in from elsewhere? So just something to definitely consider, and that's, medical stuff is just the tip of the iceberg, but there's other commodities as well that we could definitely benefit from, manufacturing them in Canada. So we'll see what happens. I think there'll be a pretty massive shift, but hopefully governments kind of take a look at this and they make the right calls going forward. One thing I did want to mention in the show today is something that's been on my mind for a while, and it's the current state of mental health and addiction, right? So more specifically, I want to focus on video games. So I'm a huge proponent of video games. I love video games, but I'm also I'm working full time. I've got a daughter. I only have so much time to play, even during a quarantine. It's not like I'm just glued to my device or anything like that. But what I am worried about is people that had a clear addiction of playing video games to the point where it took over their lives, and they're able to kick that addiction. I'm talking people like young adults, maybe in your late 20s, early 30s, maybe older than that. Um, I've known a number of people throughout my life that had pretty unhealthy addictions to online video games. And what I'm worried about right now is now that a lot of people aren't working and they got to find things to do, of course they're going to get back into video games. They're going to relive the glory days, right? So what I'm worried about is when this is all said and done, are they going to be able to simply stop playing? It's yet to be seen. But and to some of you, it might sound crazy. Like, what do you mean getting addicted to video games? Like, I'm telling you, those open world MMORPGs, things like that, or just RPGs in general. I'm talking like World of Warcraft, stuff like that. It is heavily addictive. Your whole world is taken over by something you're trying to build, or a status you're trying to reach, or there's an online community associated with it. So we're doing a raid at this time. Can you make it? Well, I mean, I got to do these things, but yeah, sure, I'll be there, right? Slowly, it takes over your lives, and in some games, I remember playing this one. It was called League of Legends, and it was highly addictive. Sort of a team-based game, but every match was like a minimum of an hour in and around there, and the life or the world ceased at that point. Like it was on pause. No one could bother you because you're in a team game online, and you can't pause it. You can't just like pick up the phone if someone's calling you. You're locking yourself out. So if you imagine if you're playing like 10 games a day, like that's crazy how much time you're spending playing a game like that. So perspectives, right? Things to consider. I don't think it's the worst thing. There's definitely worse mental health issues going on right now. People that weren't comfortable with themselves, or prior to all this self isolation. Oh man, that can't be easy. Sometimes being trapped with yourself is your worst enemy, So I really feel for anyone going through that right now. I don't know what is available for help. I know there's still helplines and things you can call, but I'm pretty oblivious as to the anything else that's available. If anyone wants to post something, by all means, feel free. I'll be happy to share it. But yeah, I mean, all the best to anyone going through a rough time right now. So as far as Canada is concerned, like we talked about some Canadians being pretty mad at the U.S. I expect that to kind of continue for a while. We'll see how this shakes out. But numbers in Canada this week, I'm expecting to be like on the rise big time. As I mentioned last week, a lot of our tests are completely delayed. And numbers are steadily increasing day over day, and I'm expecting this week to be pretty intense. Expect to see more restrictions from the provincial governments. I think we're in for quite the whirlwind. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know all the details, of course, but it seems to me like Quebec, for example. They have like checkpoints and curfews and some crazy shit going on right now. So if that's the sign of things to come in other provinces, like where I am in Ontario, or even for a lot of my friends out in BC, it's yet to be seen. But I wouldn't put it past the governments to initiate some much stricter measures as it's needed. People need to stay home. People need to worry about their own health. And even last Friday, I don't know all the details, but my understanding is that there was an updated list of essential services, and a lot of construction sites are finally being shut down, unless it's related to like a hospital or something very specific. I don't know what that is, but I mean, there's ways around a lot of this. I don't know. It's hard to say. But I hope hope everyone's just being safe and we're not spreading this virus any worse than we already are. And on that note, I'm sure we all saw that. I mean, tigers are all the rage right now with that Tiger King dude, and I still haven't watched that show. I know I need to. Maybe tonight's the night. We'll see. I don't have anything planned, but yeah, we all saw that story. Most of us did about the tiger at the Bronx Zoo. Actually contracted COVID-19. There's a couple other larger cats. I think there was like three other tigers and like a lion or something that got it too. They're still monitoring their symptoms, but and they're going to be fine. However, that's kind of scary. We don't know enough about this as to say, it can be contracted by specific animals or mammals or what have you. They ruled out dogs a while ago, even though they can still carry it and pass it on to people. They can't actually be affected by it that they know of. And I don't know if that's definitive. I assume it is, but again, I'm using the word assume because I don't know. We're all guessing here, right? But yeah, it is scary to think that it can be contracted to other species other than humans. So maybe that'll give us some good data. Maybe knowing that it could be contracted by a tiger, maybe there's some sort of correlation that we can pinpoint. Is yet to be seen, but I'm sure the proper people are working on, trying to piece this together, trying to come up with vaccines and everything in between. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. We'll see where it goes. And on that note, I'm gonna let you guys all enjoy your week, and you'll see me again tomorrow, bright and early. And there's one other thing. Oh yeah, stay the fuck home.